You're looking to rid yourself of your competition.
Hey, I'm a good citizen.
I'm Donald Duck. So you got something to tell me or what?
I believe Micheal Mann is a master at his craft, right? The pacing in his films, how his movies flow, his creative shots that he keeps us entertained with, the realism that he brings, how he lets a scene breathe, and more. You don't find that in cinema now today. I mean, you can, but it's rare. I could go on about how Mann narrates a story and uses a lens to unfold that story. I do want to say that he is a great technical artist. I just don't think he's a poet who believes in the heart as much as he thinks he does when it comes to true human emotions. It was like it was a means to an end for Mann to tell the story the way he did, the way that he ended Heat. Either it was Mann himself who wrote that Neil must die at the end, or it was just your run-of-the-mill Hollywood-produced ending where the bad guy must meet his fate, where the good guy wins. Either way, I propose a different ending for the movie Heat. There's a line where Vincent says, "You get killed walking your doggy." This means Vincent is aware of his own mortality and the mortality of other people, which means he's not afraid of death, which gives him a sort of superpower. That hunger and that drive that makes him run headfirst into a hill of gunfire is what makes Vincent special. What makes Neil special is that he's been a loner his whole life. He's been doing these heists so he can save up money so he can walk away from this lifestyle. In a way, this is his last job. He's on his way to retirement, especially that he met someone like Edie. Now Edie has shown him that he can have a normal life, a simple life, which is the other side of that coin in a totally different coin. And Vincent has had a failed life so far. Other than his career, he has 2 ex-wives and a marriage on the slopes. He just brought his stepdaughter to the hospital after an attempted suicide close to the final act. In a way, this should be Vincent's last job as well. The coffee scene where Neil and Vincent meet for the first time is significant to the version of this ending. I will explain later on in this video. So I do propose a different ending. I understand that you don't stand in front of a Van Gogh and say this part of Starry Night needs more blue. You accept the artist's vision and their work. If you would have done something differently, then you should have. This is not me altering a classic. This is me wanting to play with it. In the words of Alan Watts, I want you to think of its possibilities. Okay, here we go. No one dies in the final confrontation between the two, between Vincent and Neil. My ending starts where Vincent spots Neil on the side of the road in the back of the hotel as Neil approaches the Camaro to leave with Edie. As Vincent begins to chase Neil, Vincent stops, but he doesn't take the shotgun from the uniformed police officer. This will cause Vincent to only use his sidearm as he chases Neil through the tarmac. Vincent will shoot enough rounds as he's trying to chase Neil through that luggage cart area. By the time that he gets to the electrical boxes in the final scene and the final showdown, Vincent only has 1 round left in his handgun. Vincent knows that he only has 1 round left, so he is aware of this. So he starts to get a little nervous as he's leaning on the final electrical box. This is the first time that you see Vincent start to feel the fear of death and the weight of his absence if he's gone. He begins to start to he's thinking about his stepdaughter and Justine. He starts to imagine a different kind of life. As Neil is ambush ready for Vincent, Vincent knows he has to see this to the end. He starts walking into the open part of the field, knowing that the only place left that Neil has is around the final corner. So a plane starts to land, and Neil pulls out to trap Vincent with the landing lights. Vincent sees his shadow, and he swings his arm up to take the final shot at Neil. He misses because the landing lights have blinded him. They hold, and they just stare at each other. Neil does not shoot Vincent, and they both sort of just smile slowly, and they nod at each other. Then afterwards, Vincent just nods upwards to let Neil know, go ahead, take off. Neil puts his gun in his waistband, and then he runs off into the darkness. He's gone into the night. The camera is now on Vincent, and he watches Neil run off, and you see a slow smirk start to form on his face, like checkmate. They both are okay. The camera pans up to see Vincent standing in a field as a helicopter light just hits him. And then you see grass move, and you see him standing there with his hands to his side. Roll credits. So here are my reasons why this would have been a more impactful ending. We both enjoyed Vincent and Neil. Mann has done a terrific job to build these characters up for the viewers, for us. You become invested, and depending on what side you're on, you still end up rooting for both teams at times. This is rare when it happens in cinema. In the coffee scene I mentioned earlier, they both say some critical information that gives insight to this proposed ending that I have here. There's a point where they both talk about how the life they lead is all they know. That they don't want to do this anymore because they don't know how to do anything else though. They even bring up personal information as if they were just friends having a beer. This is because of the fondness and mutual respect that they have grown for each other during their cat and mouse game that they've been playing. When Vincent bears to Neil about his ex-wives and his rocky marriage, he's telling him that this is the reason why he's good at his job. He's saying that he doesn't want to do this anymore though, but this is all he knows. And he'll do what he has to. But they both even say that they don't want to do this anymore. Neil says there is a flip side to that coin, and if Vincent does get in his way, he'll have to put him down without any hesitation. And that's crucial to this ending. Because at the end, when Vincent misses, but gets the drop on Neil as he was trying to ambush him, is a way of them both winning this match. Neil doesn't shoot Vincent after saying he would put Vincent down without any hesitation. That's a mutual respect and showing Vincent that he's not a cold-blooded killer, but he'll do what he has to do if he gets boxed in. This is like another flip side to another coin. By Neil making this gesture, it shows Vincent that he can move on from his career. This entire case and every case before has consumed Vincent. He's met his match here, and it's time for Vincent to move on. Vincent took a couple of bad guys off the street. Yes, that's great. And Neil actually took out some bad guys too for Vincent. So this case won't hurt Vincent's career, but he will and should take a transfer to another department that will give him more time with Justine and his stepdaughter Lauren. This way, he can be a different man, a family man. Vincent knows after a score like this, like the last bank job, Neil will have enough just to retire off, especially how good he was at his craft. There are some key moments that show how Vincent starts to turn to a better way of life in his mind, where he starts to think about death instead of being immersed in it. The moment where he hugs it out with the prostitute's mother after she breaks through the scene of the crime where her daughter's body was found, you can see how Vincent starts to realize how this is ruining his life, with his efforts in homicide and robberies are continuing to be fruitless at times. And throughout the film, Vincent continues to talk about homicides as horrendous things that he doesn't enjoy, and seems that there's no end to his work. Even his wife Justine mentions to him that he lives among the dead. Okay, so those are my thoughts on this alternative Hollywood ending that is not your typical Hollywood ending for a crime drama. This may leave some people feeling unfinished, but this allows the two characters that you've been so invested in for almost 3 hours to have the opportunity for a better tomorrow without so much loss, bloodshed, pain, and heartache. Let's even go further and add a silver lining to the end of this. You can even add a final scene where Edie is just working at home and opening up mail, and then one of the pieces of mail has a plane ticket inside of it, as you can see her face light up. The end.
I was wondering if you'd go.
I've been busy. Can I see you?
I was afraid that was just the one night, you know?
No, not for me, it wasn't.
Yeah, me neither.
Can I fall by?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.
If it's between you and some poor bastard whose wife you're gonna turn into a widow, brother, you are going down.
There's a flip side to that coin. What if you do got me boxed in, and I gotta put you down? Because no matter what, you will not get in my way.
Maybe that's the way it'll be. Or, who knows?
Well, maybe we'll never see each other again.